For people who don't know, and we'll talk about it, Hey is this amazing email sort of attempt to solve the email problem.
Yes. I like to pitch it as what Gmail would have been with 20 years of lessons applied in a way where they could actually ship. Gmail was incredible when it launched in 2004. And it still is a great product, but it's also trapped in its initial success. You can't redesign Gmail today. It just has way too many users. So if you want fresh thinking on email, I wanted fresh thinking on email. I needed to build my own email system. And not just my own email client. That's what a lot of people have done over the years. They build a client for Gmail. But you're severely constrained if you don't control the email server as well. If you really want to move the ball forward with email, you have to control both the server and the client. And that was the audacious mission we set out to do with Hey. And that was what's funny. I thought our main obstacle here would be Gmail. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the email space. Something like 70% of all email in the US is sent through Gmail. Mm-hmm. I think their world rates are probably in that neighborhood as well. They're just absolutely huge. And trying to attack an enormous established competitor like that, who's so actually still loved by plenty of people and is free, seems like a suicide mission. And it was only a mission we signed up for because we had grown ambitious enough after making Basecamp for 20 years that we thought we could tackle that problem. So I thought, hey, this is dumb. I would not advise anyone to go head to head with Gmail. That seems like a suicide mission. We're going to try anyway, because you know what? If we fail, it's going to be fine. We're just going to build a better email experience for me and Jason and the people at the company and our cat, and that'll be okay because we can afford to do so. But when we got ready to launch after spending 2 years building this product, millions of dollars in investment to it, we obviously needed mobile apps. You're not going to be a serious contender with email if you're not on a mobile phone, and you need to be there with a native client. So we had built a great native client for both iOS and for Android. And as we were getting ready to launch, we submitted both of them to the app stores, got both of them approved on, I think, Friday afternoon for the iOS app. And we then went live on Monday. And we were so excited. Hey, world, we've been working on this new thing. I'd love for you to check it out. And of course, as with anything, when you launch a new product, there are some bugs. So we quickly found a few in the iOS client and submitted a new build to Apple. Mm-hmm. Hey, here's our bug fixes. Can you please update? And that's when all hell broke loose. Not only were they not going to approve our update, they said, oh, wait a minute. We gave you permission to be in the App Store, but I'm sorry, that was a mistake. We see that you're not using our in-app payment system, which means that we don't get 30% of your business. You will have to rectify that or you can't be in the App Store. At first, I thought, well, it got approved already. We're running on the same model we've run Basecamp on in the App Store for a decade. If you're not signing up through the app, and we're signing up our own customers on our own website, and they're just going to the App Store to download their companion app, we're going to be fine. That was the truce, right? That was why I never got so fired up about the App Store, even as Apple started tightening the screws, was like my business was okay. Now, suddenly, my business wasn't okay. Apple was willing to destroy Hey if we did not agree to give them 30% of all the signups that came through the iOS app. And it wasn't just about the 30%. It was also about splitting and not longer having a direct relationship with our customers. When you sell an app in the App Store, you're not selling an app to a customer. You're selling an app to inventory at Apple, and then Apple sells an app to that customer. That customer has a purchasing relationship with Apple. So if you want to give discounts or refunds or whatever, it's complete hell. If you want to easily support multi-platform, that's complete hell. If someone signs up for Hey on their iPhone and they want to switch to Android, but that billing relationship, it's tied to Apple, it's complete hell. For a million reasons, I did not want to hand my business over to Apple. I did not want to hand 30% of our revenue over to Apple. So we decided to do something that seemingly Apple had never heard before. We said, no, we're not going to add the in-app payment. I don't care if you're threatening us. This is not fair. This is not reasonable. Please approve. And of course they didn't. And it escalated. And after a couple of days, we realized, you know what? This isn't a mistake. This isn't going away. We're going to be dead if they go through with this. If we're not going to yield and give them the 30%, they're going to kick us off. Unless we make such a racket, such noise that they will regret it. And that's exactly what then happened. We were blessed by the fact that we launched Hey 1 week before the WWDC, their Worldwide Developer Conference, where Apple loves to get up on stage and harp on how much they do for developers, how much they love them, and why you should build for their new devices, and so on and so forth. And then we also just happen to have a platform on the internet, which is very convenient when you need to go to war with a $3 trillion company. So I started kicking and screaming and essentially turning it up to 11 in terms of the fight and going public with our denial to be in the App Store. And that turned into a prolonged 2-week battle with Apple that essentially ended in the best possible outcome we could have gotten as David fighting Goliath, which was a bit of a truce. We wouldn't hand 30% over to Apple. They wouldn't kick us out of the App Store, but we had to build some bullshit dummy account such that the app did something when you downloaded it. That was a rule that Phil Schiller seemingly made up on the fly when pressed for the 5th time by the media about why we couldn't be in the App Store when a million other companion apps could. But we just happened to be able to create so much pain and noise for Apple that it was easier for them to just let us be than to keep on fighting.